Alright, so I'm going to talk about why I think Conor's going to lose this weekend. He is facing Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I think Khabib has the one strength to match Conor's one flaw. He is going to beat him on the ground. So, with Conor's ground game, we haven't really seen all that much, so we kind of have to use what there is, which isn't much. So he's only really faced 3 grapplers in his career, in the UFC at least. The first was Chad Mendes, the second was Nate Diaz, and the third was Eddie Alvarez. So, the first one, Chad Mendes. He fought Chad Mendes, Chad, who is an exceptional wrestler in the 145 division. He came in on an 18-day notice, so a little over 2 weeks to prepare for what is now one of the best fighters in the UFC. And even though the fight only lasted 2 rounds, a majority of the fight, he kept Conor on his back. And the key to this, or the key that he used to take Conor down, was when Conor went to land his signature left straight, that's when Chad would go in for the takedown and keep Conor on his back. Now, Conor eventually got up a couple times and obviously dragged the fight on, but every time that Chad wanted to go for a takedown, he waited till Conor threw that left straight, and he took Conor down. Conor ended up escaping in the second round because Chad went for a submission, didn't land it, and then Conor just laid the beating on him. The second example is the Nate Diaz fight, the first one. So, obviously, they were going back and forth throughout the entire fight. Conor was getting gassed and started getting punched, so he went for a takedown. The takedown wasn't too great. He wasn't in the best of shape, and Nate Diaz was able to get his back and choke him out. Alrighty, so for my final example is the Eddie Alvarez fight. Throughout that fight, Eddie attempted a couple takedowns, and all of them were stuffed because beforehand he got rocked a couple times. Granted, he's still a good wrestler. Conor was able to use that takedown defense, and even with his back up against the cage and Eddie kind of digging in for a double leg, Conor was able to maneuver his way out and then eventually finish the fight. So, based off of those 3 fights, we see in the beginning, in 2015, that he doesn't really have that much takedown defense. The Nate Diaz fight, he doesn't really have that much of a takedown game. And then with Eddie Alvarez, we see that his takedown defense has improved, but it was against someone he's rocked a couple times. So it all depends on if he's able to hit Khabib as Khabib's coming in, maybe with a knee, an uppercut, or just that left straight that he typically plans on. But overall, I think Khabib is going to be the one to put the pressure on Conor. He's going to exhaust his gas tank, and he's going to take Conor down again and again and again. It's going to be takedown city. But who knows? I mean, those fights were all in the past, and since then he's been training. He's got a training partner, Dylan Dennis, who's a BJJ black belt, who says, that he's a better version of Khabib and that Conor's able to hold his own against him.
But I attack a lot more and I'm a little bit bigger, so I feel that I'm, just bringing basically a better version of Khabib to Conor every single day.
So maybe that's actually worth something.
What do you think? This is #1 bullshit.
Or maybe he's just blowing smoke for everyone to, kind of believe in McGregor. But I don't buy it. I'm cheering on the Dagestani Bear Wrangler, Khabib, and hopefully Saturday, he's the one who wins.